The Hoollongapar Gibbon Sanctuary, formerly known as the Gibbon Wildlife Sanctuary or Hollongapar Reserve Forest, is an isolated protected area of evergreen forest located in Assam, India. The sanctuary was officially constituted and renamed in 1997. Set aside initially in 1881, its forests used to extend to the foothills of the Patkai mountain range. Since then, the forest has been fragmented and surrounded by tea gardens and small villages. In the early 1900s, artificial regeneration was used to develop well-stocked forest, resulting in the site's rich biodiversity. The Hoollongapar Gibbon Sanctuary contains India's only gibbons, the Hoollongapar gibbons, and northeastern India's only nocturnal primate, the Bengal slow loris. The upper canopy of the forest is dominated by the Hollong tree, while the Navhar dominates the middle canopy. The lower canopy consists of evergreen shrubs and herbs. The habitat is threatened by illegal logging, encroachment of human settlements, and habitat fragmentation. History. The Hoollongapar Gibbon Sanctuary derives from a patch of forest once part of the Hollongapar Reserve Forest in the civil district of Jorhat in Assam, India. Set aside as a reserve forest on the 27th of August 1881, it was named after its dominant tree species, Hollongapar macrocarpus. At the time, it was considered an integral part of the foothill forests of the Patkai mountain range. Although the sanctuary is currently completely surrounded by tea gardens and a few small villages, it used to connect to a large forest tract that ran to the state of Nagaland. The protected area started with 206 hectares and then shrank in 1896 as sections were reserved. As tea gardens began to emerge between 1880 and 1920, and villages were established during the 1960s to rehabilitate people from Majuli and adjoining areas who had lost their lands to floods, the forest became fragmented and the reserve became isolated from the foothills. Historically, sporadic evergreen trees covered the area along with bojal bamboos. In 1924, artificial regeneration was introduced in an attempt to develop well-stocked, even-aged forest. These plantations along with the natural vegetation subsequently created a forest stocked with a rich variety of flora and fauna. During the 1900s, forest areas were added to the reserve, eventually totaling 2,098.62 hectares by 1997. However, the sanctuary remains fragmented into 5 distinct segments. On the 30th of July 1997, in notification number FRS 3797/31, the sanctuary was constituted under the civil district of Jorhat and named the Gibbon Wildlife Sanctuary after the only apes found in India, the Hoollongapar gibbons. It is the only sanctuary in India named after a gibbon due to its distinction for containing the densest gibbon populations in Assam. On the 25th of May 2004, the Assam government renamed it as the Hoollongapar Gibbon Sanctuary through notification number FRP 3797/20. Surrounding region. The sanctuary officially extends to the Dasoi Valley Reserve Forest, Dasoi Reserve Forest, and Tiru Hill Reserve Forest, which are used as dispersal areas for Indian elephants and other animals. 3 extensive tea gardens that belong to the estates of Dasoi, Kothalguri, and Hoollongapar span the distance between the Hoollongapar Gibbon Sanctuary and the nearest forests in Nagaland, the Dasoi Valley Reserve Forest. The tea gardens include Katanibari, Murmuri, Chenijan, Koliapani, Meleng, Kakarjan, Dihavala Ogri, Dihingapar, Kothalguri, Dasoi, and Hoollongapar. Neighboring villages include Madhurpur, Lakipur, Rampur, Theshwal A, Theshwal B, Katanibari, Pakrai, Vela Ogri, Afolamuk, and Kaliagaon. Biota and habitat. The Hoollongapar Gibbon Sanctuary is classified as Assam plains alluvial semi-evergreen forests with some wet evergreen forest patches. It receives 249 centimeters of rainfall on average per year. Situated at an altitude between 100 and 120 meters, the topography gently slopes downward from southeast to northwest. The Patkai River creates a waterlogged region dominated by semi-hydrophytic plants along the border of the sanctuary, helping to create three distinct habitat zones or micro-ecosystems in the park: the upslope zone, the downslope zone, and the flood-prone zone. Fauna. The sanctuary has a very rich biodiversity and is home to the only apes in India, the western hoolock gibbon, as well as the only nocturnal primate found in the northeast Indian states, the Bengal slow loris. Other primates include the stump-tailed macaque, northern pig-tailed macaque, eastern Assamese macaque, rhesus macaque, and capped langur. Also found at the sanctuary are Indian elephants, tigers, leopards, jungle cats, wild boar, 3 types of civet, 4 types of squirrel, and several other types of mammal. At least 219 species of bird and several types of snake are known to live in the park. Flora. Most of the vegetation within Hoollongapar Gibbon Sanctuary is evergreen in character and is composed of several canopy layers. The upper canopy consists mostly of Dipterocarpus macrocarpus rising 12 to 30 meters and having straight trunks. Other species found in the top canopy include Sam, Amari, Sopas, Belus, Oodle and Hingori. Navha dominates the middle canopy with its spreading crown, casting fairly heavy shade over a wide area. Other species that make up the middle canopy include Bandaudiuma, Duna, Bomara, Fulgomari bonbogri, Morhal, Selling, Sassi, and Otenga. A variety of evergreen shrubs and herbs make up the lower canopy and ground layers. The most common of these are Dolu bamboo, Bojal bamboo, Jengu, Jatibet, Hookabet, Tora, Cowpat, and Sorat. Conservation. The isolation of the park by numerous tea gardens creates a geographic barrier for migrating animals. The growing populations of tea garden workers also threatens the habitat since many people rely on the forest for firewood, traditional medicine and food. Large quantities of leaves and grass are collected from the forests to feed cattle. During the rainy season, herbicides and pesticides from the tea gardens wash through the sanctuary. The tea gardens are also used by elephants as a migration route to Nagaland, making them vulnerable to frequent poaching. Railway lines further divide the park, stranding a single group of gibbons in the smaller fragment. Illegal logging and the encroachment by local people employed by the tea gardens degraded the habitat quality.